when they are leaving Persian. When they're staying, you're going to say or use the Persian for when they are staying. Okay, so we'll get to that soon, but not now. Coming back to hello. All right. So I'm going to say it syllable by syllable, and let's figure out how many syllables you hear. 안, 영, 하, 세, 요. 5. Okay. It would be nice if all Koreans talk like that. Then it'll be really no problem at all. But what happens to those 5 syllables? Koreans make it flow really fast. Flow all together. If it's one expression, one word expression like that, they're not going to pause at all. Okay, so our goal is to go syllable by syllable and then eventually do what they do. Mush them all together. Okay, so repeat after me. 안, 영, 하, 세, 요. Okay, so first is an. As you can see, it has that N sound at the end, right? An. Okay. And then the second syllable starts with an N sound, right? And it ends with an NG at the end. So it'll be nyong. This is a tough one, I know. Nyong. Okay. The third syllable starts with an H, but the Korean H sound is very subtle compared to the English one. And if you compare it with the German one, definitely subtle. So it's not going to be no one talks like that or says it like that. Very subtle, barely there, right? So repeat after me. Ha. Okay. Se. And that is a weak S sound beginning that fourth syllable. It has to be weak. Emphasis on weak S sound. Okay, so repeat after me. Se. And then the final syllable, very easy, it's yo. Okay, like the urban yo. Okay. Now later on, you will realize a lot of Korean sentences, if not most of them, they end with yo. Okay, that is the indicator that the expression or sentence is polite. So that kind of makes it or breaks it. And when I was doing that survey of what expressions you've heard, you might have noticed, if you were attentive enough, if you threw me an expression, I added yo at the end. For example, of course, those soap operas, you hear 사랑해. Okay, right? That's the female version. The male version doesn't sound like that, or shouldn't sound like that. Now, and I added yo at the end, right? So when I said 사랑해 yo, the reason I keep doing that is because I just met you, right? Even if I'm going to say I love you to you, I have to have yo at the end because I need to be polite. So that sentence I said, we know it's a polite one to you because it ended with yo. Okay, that's why this pronunciation is crucial. You cannot mush over this one. Okay? So if you keep saying stuff with yo, very unclear at the end, people might be offended. Because they might think, how dare you drop that yo at the end? Because that means you're dropping politeness. Okay? So you are only allowed to drop that yo at the end, which indicates politeness, only if you're talking to a buddy, like a friend, very close friend. Someone younger than you, much younger, that's the point, much younger than you, or family members who are close range age-wise. Okay, that's the only case that you're allowed to drop yo. And of course, significant others. And this is the irony of the culture. I've observed this to be very strange. When they meet for the first time, just about to date, they're very polite. So they talk to each other with yo. Once they start really having a relationship and name the other person, oh, you're my significant other, they drop the politeness. So the closer you are, the more important they are in your lives, the ruder you are. I thought that was very strange language-wise, but that's what happens. That's why I caution you against some of those soap operas out there. As you can see, or you already know by now, these soap operas are about what? Boy meets girl. And then they fall in love, okay? Actually, the typical scene is they meet, they fight, they hate each other, right? And then somehow they fall in love, right? And then this cruel mother comes into the scene and says, over my dead body. And then eventually it happens. Either they live happily ever after or someone dies. Of cancer. Okay. So if you haven't watched Korean soap operas, I kind of summed up like half of them out there. Now, the reason I caution you against them, because some dramas or soap operas are about those already dating. Which means what? You will not get to hear the yo ending, which is important. If you just recite stuff that you've learned in soap operas, the language between those who are dating, you can only talk to whom? Buddies. People much, much younger, like toddlers. And then your family members who are close, right, age-wise. That's it. You can't talk like that with your neighbors, clients, bosses, strangers, no one. Classmates, you can't. So that's why the ones that I do recommend, find soap operas or plots where they don't know each other in the beginning. Where they're strangers, right? Or they hate each other, okay? Or they're not close yet, okay? Once they start dating and become significant others, I would stop watching. Because from that point on, it's useless, language-wise. Because then they'll start talking without the yo. Okay, so I had to emphasize how important that was. When you say any sentence, you can mush up any part, but not yo. Okay, so going back, repeat after me. 안, 영, 하, 세, yo. Okay. An emphasis is all of these sounds in hello, they're very weak consonants. Okay, so don't emphasize any syllable. Don't exaggerate any consonant or sound. Okay, so repeat after me once again. 안녕, 하세요, 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. Okay. Very good so far, but you have to remind yourself, and you'll keep doing this later on, the S sound in there has to be super weak. Okay? So the reason I keep saying that, we're used to a very strong S sound in English. Right? Sing, song, Sam,